The 7 Wealth Killers That No One Talks About. I'm going to share the 7 wealth killers that no one is talking about. Wealth killer number 1, saving money. Most people think their biggest financial downfall is credit card debt or indulging in caramel lattes. But that's not it. The real wealth killer keeping you broke is saving money. Wealthy people understand that money needs to flow. They don't hoard it, and they don't stash it away just for the sake of collecting. Instead, they put their money to work by reinvesting in themselves and their businesses. This is where most people make a critical mistake. They're so afraid of making the wrong financial decision that they make no decision at all. When I was 25 and building my first company, every extra dollar I had went toward one thing: speed. I needed to move faster, so I hired my first coach. He was a certified expert who had already built and exited his own company. Sure, I could have figured things out on my own, but it would have taken me 10 years. Instead, I tapped into his 35 years of experience and followed a proven blueprint. That decision allowed me to accelerate my success exponentially. There's a key difference between how average people and wealthy people use money. Average people spend to impress, while rich people invest to grow. They invest in their skills to increase their value. They invest in their business to attract more customers. They invest in their team to free up more of their time. When you invest in yourself, you send a message to the universe that you're not here to hoard, you're here to participate and grow. A few years ago, I realized I had accumulated millions of loyalty points. It hit me that I was playing a pointless game of collecting, rather than using them in a way that aligned with my philosophy. So, I told my assistant that over the next 12 months, we were going to use those 30 million points. We'd use them to bless my team, my family, and even for my own travel when necessary, but we would stop sitting on them. Keeping those points to myself did nothing to contribute to the economy or the people around me. One of the simplest ways to start investing in yourself, without spending a dime, is by consuming valuable content like this. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. But once you start investing in yourself, the next challenge is knowing which direction to take. That brings us to wealth killer number 2. Wealth killer number 2, diversification. I once had a call with a client who was struggling to make progress in their business. When I dug deeper, I discovered that they didn't just have one business, they had 3. The worst part? The first business was the rich uncle, keeping the other 2 afloat, but those other businesses were draining all the profits and causing the biggest distractions. A lot of people think that building wealth requires diversification. The reality? Wealth is built through concentration. Diversification is just that, diversification. The biggest mistake entrepreneurs make is starting multiple businesses at the same time out of fear of failure, fear of picking the wrong one. They spread themselves too thin because they're unsure which venture will be the real winner. This morning, I wrapped up a hike with a group of founders, and as I was leaving, one of them ran up to ask me a question. They wanted to know if they should partner with someone, if they should take on another opportunity. My response? What's your total top-line revenue for the year? I expected them to say $3 or $4 million. Instead, they said $90,000. If you're making $90,000 a year and already talking about running multiple businesses, you don't have a company, you have a distraction. You probably barely make enough to cover your living expenses, yet you think juggling multiple ventures makes you an entrepreneur. It doesn't. You're mistaking diversification for success, and it's holding you back. Stop it. That said, being broke isn't always about bad business decisions. And that brings us to the third wealth killer. Wealth killer number 3, stagnant friends. I grew up in a small town of about 100,000 people. Back then, everyone was nice. I genuinely loved the people around me, they felt like friends, always supportive. But as I pushed myself to grow and improve, I started noticing something. While I was working hard to level up, most of the people around me weren't on that same path. At first, they cheered me on because they liked seeing me try. But the moment I actually started succeeding, everything changed. Suddenly, I was doing too much. That's when I learned a crucial lesson: you're not just the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're the average of the 5 people you allow to influence you. If your friends don't have what you want in life, don't follow their example. If you want to build real wealth, start the year with a friend inventory. Look at your goals and ask yourself, of the people I spend time with, or let influence me, how many have actually achieved these goals? Are the people closest to me also closest to the success I'm chasing? If the answer is no, then it's time to find new influences. This concept highlights a major wealth killer: stagnant friends. But success isn't just about surrounding yourself with the right people. And that brings us to wealth killer #4. Wealth killer number 4, doing everything yourself. I'm 28, and I have a business partner. One Saturday, we had a major issue at work that needed our immediate attention. I called him up and said, "Hey, let's meet at the office." His response: "I'll be there after I finish my laundry." This is a CEO of a venture-backed company telling me he can't meet because he has to do laundry. I couldn't believe it. I told him, "You walk past 3 or 4 wash and fold places on your way to the office. Can you please pay someone $12 so we can get to work on this?" Most people waste time trying to save money. But the truth is, you need to spend money to save time. You can always make more money, you can't make more time. I saw this growing up with my dad. He owned a couple of rental properties, and every Sunday, he'd spend hours mowing the lawns. I remember asking him, "Why do you mow the lawn? Why not just pay someone to do it?" He said, "I enjoy doing it." The problem was, he didn't realize that by mowing the lawn himself, he was missing out on time he could have spent looking at more real estate deals, something that actually built wealth. He didn't understand the value of his time. That's why I teach a concept called the buyback loop. It's a system for auditing your time based on 2 factors: what gives you energy and what makes you money. The goal is to delegate tasks that drain your energy and don't generate income so you can focus on activities that increase your value. You can start small: hire someone to clean your house a couple of times a week, do meal prep, or run errands. The key is to learn how to delegate and let others support you so you can maximize your value in your business. Wealth follows those who invest in themselves. In the beginning, you might spend a few dollars to make 10. Later, you'll invest thousands to make hundreds of thousands. Eventually, you'll need to invest 6 figures to make 7. That's just how it works. If you understand how wealth is built, you know that every return requires an investment. But if you're not careful, you might sabotage your success before you even get there. And that brings us to wealth killer #5. Wealth killer number 5, being humble. I can tell you, I used to be humble to a fault. I was so humble that I never shared what I was working on. I kept my goals to myself because I was afraid of coming across as arrogant. But here's the problem: if I don't talk about what I've accomplished, if I don't share what I'm proud of, how is someone sitting next to me on a plane, in a meeting, or at a conference supposed to help me? How could they ever become a customer or introduce me to the right opportunity if they don't even know what I do? Think about hiring a real estate agent. Out of 100 options, who are you going to pick? The one who's confident and clearly accomplished. Keeping your goals, dreams, and achievements to yourself doesn't impress anyone, it only limits your ability to build wealth. I believe everyone is one conversation away from achieving their dreams. But most people don't put themselves in a position to have that conversation because they keep their goals vague, even in their own minds. That's why they don't talk about them. I want to challenge you to be specific about what you want. Write your goals down. Once you've done that, start telling people, especially those who will support you. Successful people talk about their goals. That's how it's always been. When you sit down for dinner with multimillionaires, they're not gossiping, ranting about the news, or debating politics. They're talking about what they're building. They're asking each other, "What are you working on? How can I support you?" And in turn, they're helping each other grow. It sounds crazy, but the bigger and more specific your dreams are, the more people will step up to help you. My favorite strategy. Once I set a goal, I give it a mantra, something simple and powerful that keeps it top of mind. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a right way to do this. When you meet someone new, don't immediately launch into a speech about your accomplishments. Be curious first. Ask about them. And when they inevitably ask what you do, own it. Be proud of your achievements. They gave you the floor, use it. Holding back isn't humility. It's holding you back from success. That said, simply talking about your goals isn't enough if your mindset is working against you. Which brings us to Wealth Killer #6. Wealth Killer number 6, low self-worth. I have a friend who is incredibly talented. Every time he interacts with my friends or me, he creates so much value. He's one of the smartest people we know. Yet year after year, I've watched him never ask for a piece of the action. He never inserts himself into a project, never claims his share. Why? Because deep down, he doesn't feel worthy of it. He doesn't believe he deserves it. And that, in my opinion, is what holds most people back from building real wealth. Unworthiness fuels self-sabotage. Think about it, if you took everything you've ever learned, every relationship you've built, every piece of knowledge and skill you've acquired, and put it all in a pile outside of yourself, what would you pay for it? Would it be $100,000? $500,000? $1 million? For me, the number would be huge. And I bet yours would be much bigger than you realize. Yet, you're probably undervaluing yourself, asking for far less than you deserve. One strategy I teach my clients is to create an achievement list. It's a simple but powerful exercise. Write down every accomplishment you're proud of, big or small. Maybe it's the first time you landed a kickflip, that's one of mine. Maybe it's graduating from college, making your first sale, or hitting a personal milestone. If it made you proud, write it down. Then, whenever you're heading into an important meeting, a big conversation, or just feeling low on confidence, pull out that list. Remind yourself of what you've done. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s or your 60s, you've accomplished things that others would find impressive. Use that to fuel your confidence. This is exactly what my friend should be doing. And if you start doing it, it'll change everything. It's called just freaking ask. If you're in a deal, talking to a potential customer, or working on a project, just ask. Would it be unreasonable for me to get a piece of this deal? Would it be unreasonable to ask for equity? Would it be unreasonable for us to work together? Would it be unreasonable to get paid for this work? Or one of my favorite questions, what would need to be true? What would need to be true for me to get equity in this deal? What would need to be true for us to be partners? What would need to be true for me to get paid for this work? Just asking the question, even if the answer is no, puts you in a position to participate. Your self-worth comes from your belief in yourself. And that belief is built by consistently doing the work, by keeping the promises you make to yourself in private. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's built. The more you put in the work, the more you reinforce your worth. If you want to feel worthy of success, show up daily, especially when you don't feel like it. But here's the hardest part, success itself can trip you up. Which brings us to Wealth Killer #7. Wealth Killer number 7, fear of loss. I lost $3 million in my first couple of years as an investor. What I learned? Losing is part of the game. Was I proud of that? Not at all. Did I feel ashamed? Absolutely. I thought I was terrible at it. But over time, I realized that investing in losses was actually what gave me the experience to figure out what worked. Most successful people start out playing to win. But once they achieve success, they shift to playing not to lose, because now they have something to protect. I've seen it happen over and over. I know a lot of people who are the big dogs in their communities. They have the nice house, the flashy toys, the respect of their peers. They're the ones hosting the barbecues, always surrounded by friends. But deep down, they wake up every day wondering, what could be? Think about it, when you wanted to make $100,000, you probably had to risk $10,000. If you want to make $100 million, you need to be comfortable risking $5 to $10 million. It's not about the dollar amount, it's about the ratio of risk to reward. The more wealth you want to create, the more risk you have to be willing to take. That's the game, and it's never going to change. The problem is, most people change while they're playing the game. The truth is, most successful people have been broke multiple times. But eventually, they learn how to win. And the ones who build real wealth? They master the art of reinvesting and taking risks, over and over again. They never stop. If you want to grow, you have to get to a place where you're willing to take bigger risks. The world rewards those who make bold, courageous decisions. Throughout my career, I've made choices that most people called stupid. Why would you do that, they'd ask. But I trusted my gut. Just today, I turned down an opportunity that didn't feel right. It made me sick to walk away from it. But when I checked in with myself and asked, what do I really want, I knew I had made the right call. That feeling. That's where the real rewards come from. Conclusion. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive into the 7 wealth killers that no one talks about. Remember, building wealth isn't just about making money, it's about making the right choices with your money and with your time. Whether it's investing in yourself rather than hoarding cash, focusing on one powerful idea instead of diversifying too early, surrounding yourself with people who challenge and inspire you, or simply learning to delegate and ask for what you deserve, the path to success starts with a mindset shift. If you found value in this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing which wealth killer resonated with you the most, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights. And if you're hungry for more strategies to create real wealth, check out our How to Success playlist right here on the channel. It's packed with tips, real-life stories, and actionable advice to help you level up in every area of your life. Stay bold, keep pushing your limits, and remember, every step you take is an investment in your future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.